first match of 2026 here at this great old stadium. The Premier League leaders Arsenal are here in their blue and black two-tone change shirts, black shorts, grey socks. Forest get us underway. The ball's fired away downfield towards the edge of the Arsenal penalty area, where Ben White will blast it away back to the halfway line. Pat Nevin sitting alongside as the ball's played over the top for Igor Jesus, and it's headed out of play by William Saliba. It's not often, Pat, we sit at a match in January, a league match, and the significance is as obvious as it is in this match.
It is phenomenal. It's all because of what's happened today in the last few weeks, but specifically Manchester City slipping up today, but more than slipping up, falling down on their faces almost. So what a chance, as you know, it is for Arsenal. But you know what it's like here, John? If Forest can pick it up, they will not lie down. They will go and attack this game.
Even though they've got a really poor home record, lost 6 times Forest here this season in the Premier League. I've seen Sean Dyche's teams enough times to know that they very often really put up a show, particularly when it seems that the odds are against them. And so it is a free kick for Arsenal that Raya hits downfield. It's headed further away and then hooked out of play over on the far side for a throw-in to Arsenal. So it is Ben White who's going to take this. The Forest team, remember, they did win their last league match when they won at West Ham before the FA Cup. So it is a chance as well for Forest to win 2 league matches in a row and also put that Wrexham defeat behind them. He made 9 changes, Sean Dyche, to his starting lineup from the Wrexham match, but just 1 change to the last league starting lineup. And Sangare, Ibrahim Sangare, the Ivory Coast international, here he is on the ball now, just receiving it on the halfway line. He's back from the Africa Cup and he goes straight into the starting lineup. So Hutchinson is on the bench today, played down the line. Martinelli, then the cross from Timber, but it's cleared away for Forest, out of play, or it's just actually kept in. Over here on the right hand side, Aina is able to carry it forward but then turns and back it goes. Here is Sankari on the edge of his own penalty area, and then Murillo is able to play it out to the right. So the Forest team sells in goal, back 4 of Aina, Milenkovic, Murillo and Williams, then Anderson and Sangare, Dominguez, Gibbs-White, Hudson-Odoi and Igor Jesus, the top scorer, the 8-goal top scorer. Forest have it on the left-hand side. Igor Jesus waiting inside the penalty area. Hudson-Odoi as well on the right-hand side. Dominguez on the ball, right-footed cross dangerously into the Arsenal box, but that's headed away and headed out to Martinelli, who's able to control and just blast it away down into Forest territory, where I think Matt Sells tried to clear the Peter Taylor stand, and I can actually hear it clattering around the ball on the corrugated iron roof above our heads.
It's right above us. It's only about, if you stand up to your height, you could probably feel it at the top of your head. But yeah, no chances they're taking at all. A couple of interesting things happening. Nice to see Aina back, looking back to his normal self, playing alongside Callum Hudson-Odoi. I think those two together have a phenomenal understanding. Aina will try and get up front as much as they possibly can and overlap. Another thing that's quite interesting, have a look at Declan Rice, where he's set up today to start the game. He's almost a second centre forward at the start here, so they're going to go long as well, Arsenal.
That's the voice of Pat Nevin, Scotland international winger, Everton, Chelsea Player of the Year twice, and we're watching Arsenal come forward, and they have Raya in goal, White, Saliba, Gabriel and Timber, so same back 4 as against Chelsea in the Cup on Wednesday night. And it is Madueke attacking for them, and ball in, deflected wide immediately at source by Williams behind for first corner of the match. So you know what that means. The Arsenal fans in the Bridgeford stand look very animated. The rest of the Arsenal team, Zubimendi with Odegaard and Rice, and then Madueke and Martinelli in the wide areas. If you didn't hear that earlier, Saka and Trossard on the bench today, and Gyökeres keeps his place up front. There was a bit of chat about whether Havertz might come back in. Gabriel Jesus on the bench as well, like Havertz, but Gyökeres, after his goal and his assist, is in the team. So Arsenal, the most dangerous team around from corners. Here they are with their first of the match from over there on the right-hand side, that Madueke takes in, and it lands and hits the outside of the side netting. And even though players were all arriving together, Madueke not with the kind of delivery that we're used to seeing from over there from Saka.
No, that's a bit of a disappointment, really. You want to keep it in play, you want to ask a question. Even if they clear it, you know, you put a lot of pressure on the goalkeeper right at the start, but it almost looked as if Madueke tried to score from there, and they hit the side netting. But Madueke has actually started very, very lively over on that right-hand side.
We're surprised when the teams came out and Saka wasn't in it?
No, not massively, because Madueke has played very well when he's come in, and just the options you've got. And remember, a lot of these games at this time, they had a tough game against Chelsea during the week there as well. If they have to go to Saka in the last half an hour when the bit of space opens up, don't be surprised if he does that, and indeed don't be surprised if it works.
Well, that's just it, Pat, isn't it? Mikel Arteta, with these options that he has, the strong bench. They've got another man back from the injured list today, Mosquera. Rather surprisingly, we weren't expecting that, but he is on the bench. And Arsenal it is who have the ball. Here's Zubimendi playing it back towards the edge of the penalty area. I think it's an absolutely fascinating one, this. You and I have been at many of these sort of matches, Pat, when a team like Arsenal comes to a team like Nottingham Forest who are fighting for their lives. It could easily be a very comfortable afternoon for Arsenal, get a few goals, but Forest could easily make it very difficult for them.
We also know, sitting right here, and I've been Arsenal Forest games here, if Forest score, the noise here is ridiculous, and what a lift that'll give their players.
Here's Madueke, that's excellent. Already beaten one man, then cuts back against Williams. Dominguez trying to get back there, he twists and he turns. Madueke keeping possession. I agree with you, Pat. I think he's been very effective when he's come on, Madueke, or when he's had a chance this season after his move from Chelsea at the end of last season. England goal-scoring international now. Here's Martinelli in field to Timber at left-back, curling it in right-footed, and it was hooked away by Murillo back inside his own box. Anderson jumps for it, it's going to come out to right on the edge of the area, couldn't get it down, and then he had red shirts all over him. Plays it back to Madueke again on the right-hand side, and then White flicks it back. Odegaard, corner of the box, right-hand side, playing the ball from foot to foot. Madueke is there as well. Arsenal going for an early goal here. And then Odegaard plays it in left-footed, and Martinelli with a header, it's deflected, but that took the pace off it, and then it was hooked away by Ina, and then is able to be headed back safely by Hudson-Odoi to goalkeeper Sells. 0-0.
Now, I don't know if you're the same as me, John, but did you think of Martinelli as a famous headerer of a ball? Well, we have to think that recently, because he scored a few, and he's looking very dangerous coming in at that back post there. Couldn't go out a clean header on it, but got clear.
Here's one for Dominguez to chase for Forest. Arsenal have got man back there, however it's been able to reach Igor Jesus, although the ball wouldn't come down, and he was beaten in the air, and Arsenal will bring it away through Ben White, who's now getting, it's official, he's getting a run in the team. Ben White started 3 matches in a row. Still no Calafiori returning yet, but that Arsenal injured list now, well, it's down to Hincapié, Calafiori and Young Dowman. So he has a very strong list of strength and depth.
The options are fantastic, but also at the back. But you're talking about, you know, likes of White coming in there, not playing all that many games, but now playing. Remember, he's a tall player as well. He's not bad in the air. So another one that's a danger from those free kicks and corner kicks. And of course, they've got Havertz just ready to come back as well.
Yep, just easing his way back. Timber playing the ball out to the right-hand side. Madueke has seen a lot of it. He's beaten Williams. Then Anderson comes in with a challenge, takes on Williams again, plays it in, Wim bounces back, and then Anderson, Madueke's England colleague, is able to smuggle the ball away. Madueke ends up going down. Williams was involved in that as well. Referee Michael Oliver says play on, and then here is Gibbs White, nicely gets it down. Still inside his own half. Hudson-Odoi on the right-hand side. Scored 2 goals as Forest made that comeback in the FA Cup at Wrexham. The second of them, a brilliant goal. I hope you've seen it, as ball played infield, but Gibbs White actually miscontrolled it. Rice came in on the challenge and has ended up coming off worse there. Then it's played into the penalty area. He goes Jesus, but it wouldn't come down. Chested it down, went for the volley. Anderson heads it back. A stretch by Gibbs White. Now Hudson-Odoi is able to take it down. There's an Arsenal man down inside the penalty area, and the referee has stopped play. And Michael Oliver is waving on the Arsenal physio. Saliba just lying on his back, twisting onto his left. I think it's a leg injury, but
I wonder if he's twisted something in his back. Just he went down at a strange angle there when the ball was played down. Good defending by Saliba and Gabriel. actually he's got a kick in his back there. To be honest, it is one of those ones. It looks really bad and it'll be a bit sore, but he'll be okay. He'll absolutely will be okay. But I understand why the referee didn't see that. First of all, it was great defending. There looked like it was a half a chance there for Igor Jesus, didn't there? The ball didn't even come down from the air, and he had two centre-backs all over him like a rash.
Saliba is okay, he's being helped to his feet, he'll have to leave the field, you can hear the reaction. Great scene, isn't it? The City ground packed, absolutely packed, with two tiers on three sides. Bridgeford stand to my right, Brian Clough stand on the opposite side of the ground, and of course the Trent end, just really a stone's throw away from the great river itself, the Trent behind it, and red and white scarves all round, and Saliba is being led off the field onto the far side. So Arsenal will be down to 10 men temporarily for 30 seconds. Sean Dyche in his sort of aquamarine coloured Nottingham Forest tracksuit just steps forward. Forest tried to send it towards the edge of the Arsenal penalty area, but it breaks down on the edge of the box. Hudson-Odoi whips over the cross, but it's over everyone. Williams has got to it first. Williams turns it back, and then the shot is deflected by Dominguez. Arriving on it, 12 yards out, deflected around the left post and behind for Forest's first corner of the match.
Well, it's very noticeable. You pointed to Sean Dyche there, saying he was so animated. The reason being, they had an extra man. The man that was off, one of the main defenders, he wanted to make good use of it. They came very close to scoring from that one.
So a corner to Forest then, for Arsenal to defend. It's over there on the left-hand side. Ball played into the near post, but that's headed up and away. Very well defended by Declan Rice inside his own penalty area. Comes back, is headed further away by Zubimendi, but Nottingham Forest have got possession back just outside the penalty area. Chip forward from Sangare to the back post. Igor Jesus is able to get the header to it, but just nods it into the penalty area. Raya could come forward in those massive white gloves that extend halfway up his forearms. He's able to clutch the ball, and Arsenal played out from the back. Already 12 minutes played. Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0. I can tell you at half-time, by the way, we're going to be hearing from the Crystal Palace manager, Oliver Glasner, after that amazing news, really, the amount of it from Oliver Glasner yesterday when he spoke ahead of this match, and it is going to be a very unhappy Oliver Glasner you're going to hear after Crystal Palace's defeat at Sunderland. Not sure he can be any more unhappy than he was last Saturday, when he was almost monosyllabic after Palace were knocked out of the FA Cup at Macclesfield.
When you're ahead and you throw it away, that's the one that kills him.
White playing the ball down the right-hand side to Madueke. Now Ben White again, just a little touch back out to Madueke. Forest well marshalled behind the ball, and then back it goes towards the halfway line. Nottingham Forest, as I say, won last time out in the Premier League at West Ham, but it lost 4 in a row before that, as Aina is just able to guide the ball out shoulder to shoulder with Martinelli for a goal kick to the home side.
You watch Aina play, and he did come up through the Chelsea ranks, but you can't help thinking of Reece James sometimes when you watch him, don't you? Because of his physicality and the way he just leant on Martinelli. You have to say, are you kidding? You think you can shoulder charge me? Great strength, but also brilliant balance as well. Really fine play.
Yeah, just come back after a lengthy period of time out with a hamstring problem. A little stumble at the back from Gabriel, and as he was vying for it, Forest man Dominguez has gone down, and I think he's received a bang, maybe an arm in his face, flailing arm from Gabriel. He sort of stumbled, didn't he? And as he was trying to right himself, flung out an arm, his left arm, into the face of Dominguez. I mean, it's just a slight brush on his chin.
Into the face? I'm saying upper chest.
Yeah, I think it's the end of his chin. If that.
Once again, my sympathies are limited on this occasion. I don't think he's injured in any way at all there.
He's trying to win the free kick.
Trying to win the free kick, and the referee
and actually, he's not given a free kick, has he? It's going to start with a drop ball.
Well, the weird thing is, because he's gone down, I don't think he's been hit in the face. He's gone down and rolled about, because the referee thinks it's a head injury, he must stop the game.
Yeah, and also he's got to leave the field as well.
Yeah, but if it is not a head injury and you can prove that it wasn't, you should probably book him for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to prove it.
I know, well, it was.
But you're right.
It's just one of the hobbies. A lot of people are talking about it currently in the game. The amount of stoppages there are in the game just now. It's taking forever to take throw-ins, it's taking forever to take corner kicks a lot of the time. And people going down unnecessarily when you're not seriously injured. It's tiresome.
Listen, people listening on the way from matches, listening to what you're saying, Pat, there'll be an almost total agreement with you if someone is proven not to have a head injury when they've made out it's a head injury. It's just difficult to prove it. But did you see this week as well? They're talking about countdown timers, aren't they, for throw-ins and
again,
corners?
I'm well behind that one.
It is Arsenal bringing the ball forward. Dominguez is off the field, so Arsenal temporarily, again, they're the ones now up against 10 men. Martinelli on the left, Aina puts in the challenge and that deflects it. The ball away behind into the supporters in the lower tier of the Trent end. Another corner to Arsenal, but this time it's from Rice's side, Pat.
Yeah, and usually his delivery is very, very good. There's not a lot of space here. Some of the grounds, there's plenty of space to have a run up. It's a little bit tighter. He's actually on 3 different surfaces as he runs from, one looks like grass onto a shorter piece of artificial grass, then back onto the grass again.
So it is Declan Rice. Arsenal scored an early goal from a corner at Stamford Bridge on Wednesday, the 24th goal that they've scored from a set piece this season. Here he goes, Rice, delivery to the back post, Sells comes, gets a hand to it, taken down, Martinelli shoots, that's blocked inside the penalty area. Back to Madueke on the edge of the box, tries to take on and beat Dominguez. Dominguez got a foot in on it, back on the pitch for Forest. Madueke's done well though. He's come out with the ball, but trying to sling it over from out on the right wing. Only succeeded in sending it straight behind into the Trent end. Hence the Forest cheers that you could hear. And it's Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0 on 5 Live, which you can also hear via the BBC Sounds app, all of the live radio. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, to be honest, he looks very, very sharp, doesn't he? Out on that right-hand side, Madueke. It's a real battle between him and Williams, which is really enjoyable, just on its own. And also Martinelli against Aina here. I mean, Aina's winning that battle at the moment. But as all wingers know, you only have to win it once or twice.
Yes, only got to be lucky once. There were 4 ties in the Scottish Cup that went to extra time and penalties. They are all over, and the winners are Airdrie, St Mirren, Spartans and Kelty Hearts. Here's Martinelli on the left-hand side for Arsenal in the Forest right-back position. Finds Timber near the edge of the box. Timber, socks down, back to Martinelli, socks up. And Martinelli against Aina, goes for the byline, gets the crossover, headed back across by Madueke, but into the path of Forest, who are able to put it behind for another corner, and Forest are under pressure here.
Yeah, I mean, they've fought and battled early on in the game, but it's like with Arsenal, they press and then they hold the ball, but they don't slow it down, they move it around quickly, and it just pushes the team further and further back. Although Forest are used to doing that, but as you say, under plenty of pressure just now.
So this time it's another Madueke corner from the far side, the Arsenal right, so it's a left-footed delivery. Again, this is into the near post. Forest head on it, headed away in the 6-yard box to Declan Rice, who's able to take it away. Sankari got his head to it, back over the top it goes, but as it was brought down by Madueke, he basically presented it with his touch to Dominguez, who just whacked it away out of play near the halfway line.
I'm not sure what the referee gave there.
Oh, did he give offside?
I don't think he did. I didn't see the flag going up. No, I didn't see the flag going up. And by the way, having seen it again now, there's no offside there. So he must have said there was maybe a free kick against Nico Williams there when the ball was brought in. But what a grip. I mean, you kind of take it for granted sometimes. That ball across the box to put Madueke in there at the far post by Declan Rice was absolutely fantastic.
Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0, after a very eventful day. If you've been listening to all or part of 5 Live Sport this afternoon, there's an aerial challenge, centre field on Anderson, which has left the England midfielder on the ground holding his head. So he's going to need to be looked at as well, although actually Michael Oliver's had a look at his fellow North Easterner, and he's just given the signal, no, he's fine.
To be fair, in that one, he'll be a wee bit winded by that, because Gyökeres came right in at the back of him. A wee bit of frustration there from Gyökeres. He's not really been massively involved in the game so far, and he knows himself that there's a wee bit of pressure on that bench now.
Yes, there is, and that's not unusual, as we were discussing at Stamford Bridge the other night. In 7 Premier League matches this season, Gyökeres has not actually had an attempt on goal. Here's Madueke, though, as Arsenal pull forward again. Madueke into the box, tried to cross it. Forest had numbers in there. It's teed back to the edge of the area, and then the left-footed shot. Well, the less said about that, the better from Ben White. He might have scored in the Cup semi-final the other night, but with his left foot there, that, as they say, never threatened the Forest goal.
It's the sort of position, if you've got Saka in that position, you would think, I'll go in the top corner. Not necessarily the same with Ben White, but he's getting up there, he's giving a little bit of support. Not got a brilliant understanding so far with Madueke, but Madueke does look dangerous every time he gets the ball. So far, though, final ball hasn't been great from Madueke. Everything up until then has looked perfectly good.
So Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0. And after the Manchester City defeat in the derby early in the afternoon, Manchester City's 5th Premier League defeat of this season, Arsenal here, if they win, will be 9 points clear at the top of the table, which would be Arsenal's biggest lead at the top of the table this season. It would be the biggest lead they've had at the top of the Premier League under Mikel Arteta's management, and indeed it would be the biggest lead at the top of the Premier League since they last won the league, when they finished 11 points clear of Chelsea back in 2004. So
you try to put pressure on there, John.
Well,
but you're right,
they all know it.
They'll feel it.
Will feel it.
And they would love to get it just now. And one of the things he would have said before the game, Mikel Arteta, is, if at all possible, can you score an early goal? But it's not necessarily been Arsenal's way, has it? They've worn down his teams and they look very, very good. As I say, they're a very strong team, very physical team, but the backup is brilliant as well. So as a second half team, they are pretty special.
Yeah, Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0. Ball in the hands of Sells, and he underarms it out to Murillo, and then forward it goes. Anderson's found a little bit of space over on the left-hand side and is able to bring it forward. Goes actually past Dominguez, who is playing out there, Pat. We did wonder, didn't we, that Dominguez playing over towards the left-hand side. Gibbs White centrally. Here's Igor Jesus, who can get so far but no farther against Saliba. Gabriel now pulls away and receives it from his goalkeeper Raya, then plays it through the middle. Rice will turn it back to Saliba on the edge of the box, and then a first time touch from Saliba into the path of Ben White, who's able to take it on over the halfway line, then comes back to Declan Rice, 27 years old on Wednesday he was. Then in comes the ball to the edge of the penalty area, where Odegaard couldn't latch onto it. Here he is again, the Arsenal captain, but Forest are all over him. Ball won back by Anderson, and then Saliba, a little foul, concedes the free kick, and Forest are stopped in their tracks, and that is a free kick to the home side, 10 yards inside their own half. Michael Oliver will have made a note of that.
Yes, Anderson, to be honest with you do love watching him, because the effort is always there. He reads the game incredibly well. He's a very good footballer. A lot of the time it's no nonsense, it's pretty straightforward stuff, but he very rarely makes any mistakes, and he's the way he's playing just now, he's number 8 and he's up against Odegaard, and he really has limited Odegaard's effect in the game so far.
We're keeping you across a number of sporting events actually that are underway. The ball's played through by Murillo. Hudson-Odoi tries to get there, but Raya very quickly out of his penalty area. This is the middle of the half. Raya sprinted out, went feet first to clear it away, and Hudson-Odoi was second best to it there.
Well, we saw a few of them earlier, but Donnarumma had to come out and save Manchester City a few times in the game against Manchester United in the first half. Well, that one, he was miles ahead there. It would have been looked at, see if it was offside or not, but looking very sharp, Odoi, when he gets a chance in the ball.
Still 0-0. Aina crossing from the right, hits it straight into Timber's midriff, and that sends him immediately down, clutching his nether regions. So we're going to have a little stop here before this corner is taken from the right, and that was a direct hit. He is going to take a little while to recover from this. So while Forest get themselves organised, still Egypt 0, Nigeria 0 in the third place match. the Africa Cup of Nations. And in the 5:30 kick-off in the Championship, Swansea have scored. Jan Vipotnik makes it Swansea 1, Birmingham City 0. York 0, Southend 0 in the National League. And we'll keep you across the Champions Cup matches as well, Toulouse Sale and Munster Castres. Timber has recovered surprisingly quickly. Forest take the corner, and Michael Oliver spots an infringement in there. And Igor Jesus is the man who finally gets to his feet and glares at the referee for giving the free kick against him. And with that, all of the Forest coaches descend on Thomas Kirk, the fourth official, and ask why.
And part of the reason is because it's so important, you know, in Forest, that their set pieces, they need to get something out of them. They need to put a little bit of pressure, because they're going to get limited amount of clear opportunities against this brilliant Arsenal defence.
We heard from Mark Chapman that Judd Trump and John Higgins were playing a decider at the Masters Snooker. Jamie Broughton, what's happened?
And John Higgins has just got through in a dramatic final frame decider. John, he's won by 6 frames to 5. He made a 57 break in the decider. He's now waving to the crowd. He's the oldest player to get through to a Triple Crown final.
Thank you, Jamie. Obviously the coverage of the snooker today and tomorrow on BBC television. Here's Martinelli playing the ball back into the middle of his own half. Yes, match of the day tonight as well. You won't want to miss that. I wonder what will be the first match on tonight.
I think I could guess.
Yeah, BBC One, after the news, wherever you are around the UK. Alan Shearer and Wayne Rooney with Mark Chapman tonight. And you'll be able to watch that anytime on the iPlayer. Clips available after 8 o'clock, by the way, on the BBC platforms, BBC football pages on the website. Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0. Almost half an hour played, and actually very few clear goal-scoring opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, typically you always say this about Sean Dyche's side, the organisation. It's been brilliant. Every player knows what he's doing, and as soon as they lose the ball, they know the man they've got to get, they know the space they have to go and cover, and it's been brilliant so far. I've just been watching Declan Rice against Sangari for a little while just now. Sangari just, honestly, he's a shadow to him. As soon as Forest lose the ball, they know Rice is a danger, so he's on him. Odegaard's getting a job done on him as well by Anderson. You totally understand what Sean Dyche has done, and so far it's worked extremely well.
Yeah, Sangari coming back in. He's missed the last 6 matches while he's been away at the Africa Cup. Ivory Coast, the holders, lost to Egypt in the quarter-finals. He played in that match in midfield. Arsenal in possession with Odegaard. The captain turns, gives it out to the right-hand side, and then the ball is slipped forward. It's White actually who's over on that. White's cross, Rice is in there! It's deflected across the face of goal. Sangari has got something on that. Even though I think Rice was goal side of him, Rice's contact, well, it's deflected it into Sangari and bounced wide. That could easily have flashed into the Forest net.
Off of absolutely anyone. I think Rice has actually been, his arm's been held back just a little bit there by Sangari. He's shouting at the referee there. Did you see that? And of course he hasn't seen it because it went so quickly. But that was possibly as close as we've come so far.
Yeah, I think so. I think Aina in the end it was who was the Forest player was hit by it. Rice's corner then, this is a very deep one, which is headed back across and then away. Madueke fires it in, deflected Martinelli! Oh, right across the face of goal! He was arriving onto it, left instep, rolled it back across goal. It looked for all the world as though that would find the bottom corner, the far bottom corner. Instead, it rolled past the foot of the post and wide.
Oh, that's almost the dictionary definition of a sitter. It's just, is he 2 yards out? Maybe 3. I was being harsh on him. He's 3 yards out. Yes, it's in a difficult angle, but you get it on target. As simple as that. And he's caught it with the wrong end. He's just put it past. Well, scrap that line about the best chance of the game so far. that goes to Martinelli, and he's missed it.
Pat, if this was last weekend in the FA Cup, yeah, and I saw the superior team do that against the lesser team, as we might say in inverted commas, we'd be in the Cup saying things like, does that mean it's going to be their day?
Yes. I think what will lift Arsenal from that, yes, they missed that chance and they won just before it as well, but they're beginning to create chances now, and it always happens in games. You come to the end of halves, first half, more specifically second half, spaces open up and little bits of gaps, and that's when the players like Madueke, who had the shot, and obviously Martinelli, they start to get little gaps, and well, you're beginning to see them now in that Forest defence.
Yeah, free kick for Arsenal near the halfway line. Rice plays it down the line to Madueke, then back to Rice. In it comes from Rice, right-footed. It's landed on the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's cleared away by Sangare. Ben White for Arsenal lifts one back in on the volley. Williams heads that away. Then Saliba gets a left foot to it nearer the halfway line, and Arsenal go back again towards the halfway line. Rice turns, looks for his captain, Odegaard, and the Norwegian. Little touch from him. Madueke again, who has seen lots of the ball, but he gives it back to Odegaard. Odegaard's deep cross to the back post. Aina, I think, almost shouldered that away to the edge of the area, and then Igor Jesus is easily dealt with by Saliba. Jesus goes down, wanted a free kick.
Unusual tackle, John, through his legs, put his foot through his legs, won the ball clean, didn't touch the player. I don't often see that one.
0-0, Arsenal back in possession again, and Saliba rolls it forward again. Madueke, they clearly like the chances of Madueke against Williams. Oh, lovely ball through. Subameni with a shot from the angle, but that whizzes away past everyone who is inside the or just outside the 6-yard box. Gyökeres was there, Martinelli was arriving, but it flashed away from them and behind.
Yeah, once again, talking about those gaps, they are beginning to open up, and if you open up against a team like Arsenal, they will play the ball in there. Madueke's through ball there was absolutely exceptional and absolutely spot on. They're getting the ball over to Madueke as often as possible. What slightly surprised me with Williams, he's not engaging them right away. He's giving them 3 or 4 yards and allowing Madueke to get a head of steam up. Slightly surprising that. As a winger, that's what you love to happen.
Yeah, not like Cucurella against Saka the other night.
Exactly, limpet stuff. And, different ways. You watch Aina, he's very different. He's very close to Martinelli as I'm speaking to you just now. That's his style, and most wingers don't like that as much.
5 Live, Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0. Arsenal, if they win, will go 9 points clear. We are going to hear from Thomas Frank at half-time on 5 Live after West Ham's late win. So dramatic. We were sitting, weren't we, listening to Ian Dennis and Stephen Warnock with the commentary when Callum Wilson scored the late goal to win it for West Ham. So we'll hear from Thomas Frank at half-time. We're going to hear from Daniel Farke as well of Leeds United after their valuable 1-0 win against Fulham. Finished Liverpool 1, Burnley 1, Chelsea 2, Brentford 0. And as I say, we'll hear from Oliver Glasner as well after Sunderland won 2-1 against Crystal Palace. Arsenal with the ball on the halfway line. 6:06 tonight with Alistair Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton. We'll tell you when the lines are open. In the Championship, Middlesbrough won last night. Coventry, Ipswich, Millwall and Hull City all won this afternoon. Arsenal with the ball on the edge of the penalty area. Gyökeres with a touch, rattling round near the left corner of the box. White's in there as well, but Forest in the end clear, and it's out of play near the halfway line. And they're up against it, Forest here.
Falling further and further back. Most of the time when Arsenal have the ball, they've got easy possession in midfield. Forest they're sitting back into what is a 5-4-1 most of the time. One midfielder goes into the defensive area, and it is hard to break through, but you can see Arsenal getting little gaps now. It was just slightly too intricate there. Almost an old Arsenal trying to walk the ball into the net, but you feel there's more chances to come between now and the end of the half for Arsenal. Mikel
Arteta made 3 changes from the strong team that started at Stamford Bridge. So Saka and Trossard on the bench for this one. Kepa as well, the goalkeeper. So Arsenal have the ball halfway inside their own half, but well placed in that semi-final. I'd be very surprised if it's not Manchester City against Arsenal in the League Cup final in March. But we'll see as Madueke runs it back towards the halfway line, and then Arsenal will start again. Arsenal lost out in 2 semi-finals last season and didn't score a goal in the 4 matches, so that's already an improvement. Here, in control, even though the score is 0-0, Martinelli just stabbing it back towards the halfway line. Arsenal on a 10-match unbeaten run now in all competitions. They've lost only 2 matches all season.
They've got one other very big upside, which do not forget, they are so far ahead in the Champions League just now. They've probably qualified for the top 8 already, so they don't need to stress themselves in the last 2 games in the Champions League either. So that will be important as these games come thick and fast.
Yeah, it's not guaranteed yet, but it virtually is, and I'm sure it will be, whatever happens on Tuesday night when they actually go to Inter, Champions League runners-up last season. But you're absolutely right, Pat. That will not be a full-strength Arsenal team, even though it's in the San Siro. As Timber overhits a pass and it drifts away out of play. York 0, Southend 1 in the 5:30 kickoff in the National League. So Forest 0, Arsenal 0, and that will line up on the bench today, Pat. So Saka and Trossard are there, Gabriel Jesus, Eza, Mikel Merino, Havertz, Lewis Skelly and Kepa Arrizabalaga.
Yeah, I mean, everyone then, if they started, it wouldn't raise an eyebrow, would it?
No.
I don't think any one of them really, maybe Kepa to some slight degree, but other than that, no.
Forest now 4 points clear of the relegation zone after West Ham's win. And Hudson-Odoi taking it away for them, and the cross into the middle is headed away by Gabriel and then cleared further away by Madueke. I have seen Forest win here a couple of times in recent times. Remember the FA Cup ties between the sides, which are actually a little while ago now, but the place was absolutely vibrant, I remember. But since the return to the Premier League, Forest have beaten Arsenal only once, home and away. Forest coming forward, header flicked away on the edge of the penalty area by Saliba, and then Gyökeres deep inside his own half, winning the ball back. The Arsenal supporters are applauding him there. I can see them all in the Bridgeford stand clapping their hands together for his work rate as Zubamendi volleys it forward, gives it back to Forest, and you can hear the encouragement. Sean Dyche comes out pointing forward to his Forest team. Gibbs White now, the Forest captain, turns infield, then gives it back to Aina. Elliot Anderson receives it, his right-footed ball into the edge of the area, easy, comfortable, stretching header away for Gabriel. And then Forest start again. The noise begins to come out of the Trent end from our left. Hudson-Odoi looks to get it back, clipped by Timber, and the referee says free kick. And the yellow card comes out immediately, just outside the penalty area. Forest supporters, I think those down at Trent end who were at the other end of the ground thought it might be in the box.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to have another look at it because it is very, very close. The referee's so confident that it happens outside the box. I have to say, I'm not quite so sure. It looked to me as if it was nearly on the line, and we know if it's on the line, it should be a penalty kick. They must have a look at it. Surely they'll have a look at it.
Well, there will be, of course. They
are having a look at it.
Look at it. The video assistant referee is Darren England, and
I would say
it is just
a foot out. I haven't said that. He's holding it, John, when he goes in. And he's still holding his arm. The
question is, when's the end of the offence?
Yeah.
Does he continue to foul it? Does Timber continue to foul Hudson-Odoi as he's falling into the area?
They've certainly suggested it's not a penalty kick, and I think Timber is rather unlucky. Well done, saying Aina and Hudson-Odoi, that's them working together there. When they do, up that final third of the field, look very good.
Yeah, and it's a free kick to Forest. Anderson plays it in, and Raya is able to get two hands to it, punches it out to Hudson-Odoi. His shot, that's blocked by Madueke on the edge of the area, bounces back to Aina. 25 yards from goal, Anderson in from the right, his cross, that's cleared. Aina then goes for goal, wrong decision. He knew it immediately, put his hands to his head, rush of blood to it, left foot shot, pulled well wide, probably 15 yards.
Well, I understood why he tried it, but I mean, it's one of those ones you hit a drive and you think it's going to go 300 yards. It rarely does. He's tried that one there, and it's come off the heel. And it's a shame though, because they had that little lift in their play there, and it got the fans lifting. They've had 2 or 3 minutes. Just keep possession at that point in the final third.
And Pat, I was listening to you alongside Ian Dennis at St James's Park the other night during the course of that 5.5 minutes and more. This one here, as I think virtually every VAR check has been since, double quick. Here is Gibbs White. I think that's the message from on high. As the ball is lifted back out, so Hudson-Odoi is going to do well to keep it in. Actually, he does. Steps off the pitch, but heads it infield, kept it in play. Hudson-Odoi again, little ball round the outside of Martinelli. This is Forest's best spell of the match so far,
but by some distance. And it is interesting because they know they have to do this sometimes against the best teams. You know, you're not going to have possession for long periods of the game, but when you get it, be comfortable with it, and that's what they've done. And apart from that wild shot from Aina, they've controlled it quite well in these last 4 or 5 minutes.
Nice pass from Anderson for Aina, and Gabriel came and got a touch on it to deflect it out for a throw. And Aina, as he turned here towards the fans in the Peter Taylor stand, he urged them to make some noise, and actually all behind them, they've stood up now, looking to our right, all standing up. Lots of Parker coats with furry hoods behind Aina, with the long throw for Forest into the Arsenal penalty area, headed away from Rice, and then volleyed away, hoofed away by Martinelli. Oh, it's missed by Murillo, and now Gyökeres is onto this. Murillo trying to get back, still Gyökeres shoots, deflected wide. Defender did get a touch to it, and somehow, after his initial slip, Murillo was able to get back and do enough to deflect the Gyökeres shot wide for a corner.
Well, they're just about to take it quick there, but he's got a yard, Gyökeres. Murillo trips, then he drags him, then he slips, but he still gets back, and maybe that is the biggest problem with Gyökeres. That searing pace you need as a centre forward. He's not slow, but he's not lightning, and he could not get away from Murillo, who, has to be said, defended it well in the end.
Forest have just had their spell, but now they've got to face another Arsenal corner. This is number 5, Madueke, left-footed into the 6-yard box. Sells comes, gets his punch to it, in amongst the crowd, over the top of the crowd actually, and punched it away. Unfortunately for Forest, it fell to a man in red who was able to clear it away downfield. And then Raya at the other end just smacks it right-footed back to Sells.
Well, the reason he did that's not a fluke. It's because he was closed down there. I mean, selflessly closed down by Dominguez there, chased, and because of that, Raya couldn't let the ball fall, so he had to take it on the volley. And you seen Sean Dyche turn round to Dominguez and go, brilliant, thank you, well done, you just got his possession again. That selfless chasing, but he knew he wouldn't get the ball, but he got possession.
Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0. So still Swansea 1, Birmingham 0 in the Arsenal half. It's Gibbs-White who turns, but Martinelli is able to challenge him. Gibbs-White gets it back from Martinelli, too easy really, chips it into the penalty area with the cross, but way above Igor Jesus, and Raya is able to underarm it out, and Arsenal can start again from in front of their own penalty area.
I don't think we're surprised, John, that this is so tight just now. Remember a game against Manchester City, there was 2-1 I think, where Forest get beat, but they were absolutely well in it. Then earlier in the season, when Chelsea came here, I mean, they absolutely battered Chelsea, for long periods of that game, and were very unlucky not to win it. They are a very tough team to take on here at this ground, and you can see the organisation that Sean Dyche has brought is very, very special, very hard to play against.
Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0. Cheers from the home supporters because Raya has chipped it out of play, but they have struggled for results, simple as that. 3 managers, of course, this season. Here's Hudson-Odoi away for Forest, stabs it forward. Igor Jesus is up against Martinelli and gets it back from him, and Hudson-Odoi is saying to Aina, come on, down the wing. In fact, he comes in field, but then the left-footed ball into the penalty area is curling in from the right into the gloves of Raya, who's able to take the catch.
It's one of the good things about Cam Hudson-Odoi, isn't it? Whether he's left or whether he's right, when he cuts inside, he puts that angled ball in, which if no one touches it, drops in at the back post and maybe gets a goal out of it. But he just does it time and time again. It's not a complicated thing to do, but he has generally got very good delivery.
Yep. So it is 0-0, half-time approaching. Mentioned the 3 managers this season. In fact, in the last 14 home league matches, they've had as many wins as they've had managers. The latest scores in the Champions Cup I will give you in a moment, because Forest have given it away to Martinelli. Martinelli is for Gyökeres to chase down into the full-back position. Forest have got 2 men on him. I'm not sure he's going anywhere, and actually no, he's not. It's been dispossessed. Milenkovic comes out with the ball, and then Sangare just angles it back into the edge of his own penalty area. Murillo, after that excellent block against Gyökeres, hits the ball left-footed downfield. Raya comes out and actually only gets a tiny touch on it, and then swings a foot into it against Igor Jesus, and I think he might have caught a little bit of the man. It's a little fortunate there, Raya.
Yeah, he had to get it right, John. Gets that wrong at all, that sort of tackle, that could be red.
Twice, actually, almost in the same motion.
Yeah, and
the first one, where he came out absolutely full pelt and just got there. And then the second one as well, where he had a mighty swing at it, put it out. He did the job. Here's Anderson now. Has just shown too much of that to Zubamendi, who was able to step in, clear it away. Forrest again. Sangare, tall, big shoulders, steps into the challenge. Gibbs White gives it to Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi now running at timber. Remember, he's on a yellow card now, so he has to be careful. But he backpedals. 3 minutes of added time. Has raced by. All the opportunities have been Arsenal's, really, in terms of genuine goal-scoring opportunities. How the shot from Martinelli didn't end up in the back of the net. That was that one from Zubamendi. Gyökeres should have scored, perhaps. Anderson now crossing, but he's got too much on that from the right. It just drifts away over the top of the crossbar, and it is a goal kick to Arsenal. Remains 0-0. Arsenal have scored in every match but 2 this season. The 2 matches, home and away, against Liverpool in the Premier League. Munster 12, Cast 17 is the half-time score, and it is Toulouse 26, Sale 0 in the other 5:30 kick-off in the Champions Cup. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, you just look at... Sean Dyche should be delighted with this, won't he? Yeah, there have been 2 or 3 chances, but they have held it, Arsenal quite well. They're playing for that one chance, that possible for a free kick or from a corner kick, just a one break down the right-hand side with Callum Hudson-Odoi. They're just playing for that, but they need to try and keep a clean sheet. It's tough against Arsenal, but Sean Dyche, I think he'll be the happier manager. They're not the better team, but he'll be the happier manager when they go in here at half-time, if it stays 0-0.
And it's a free kick to Forest near the edge of their own penalty area. There'll be more live sport as well through the night on 5 Live. And Sports Extra Tennis Breakfast is back in the morning, because the Australian Open Tennis begins overnight. Be able to listen on the go all through the fortnight, on your way into work or whatever you do first thing in the morning. Sports Extra, ask your smart speaker to play 5 Sports Extra, and there we are, one of the indicators that the sporting year is getting into full swing. Here, Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0. If Arsenal win this, 606 will be full later, and football supporters of all colours saying, well, that's it, it's over.
Yeah, I mean, it gives them what an opportunity it gives them, but it's just not done yet. We'll see what the Premier League does to teams. And Arsenal, in times, they've still not had their big dip yet. There almost always comes a dip in some season. It hasn't quite happened to them yet. I think they still need to do something about the striker position just now. It's not quite right yet. There's lots of technical reasons for it, but Gyökeres is a battering ram at the moment. You're wasting your time against the 2 he's playing against.
Well, Forest encouraging. Aina receives it from Gibbs White and wins the corner off Martinelli. Certainly this match is far from won yet for Arsenal, even though they've dominated possession and the chances in the first half. But in the final moments of the first half, it's a corner to Forest.
I'd say maybe 10, getting on for 15 minutes towards the end of the half here. There's been very, very little in it, and possibly Nottingham Forest have shaded it, so it tells you they've survived the onslaught.
Egypt, Nigeria has gone to penalties at the Cup of Nations. Anderson takes this corner, flicked across the penalty area, but then a stretching header away. I think it was Timber who got to it. I think this will, indeed, it will not be, because that clearance was the last action of the first half. And as the players turn and head towards us here, head towards the tunnel, I can see many of them are puffing heavily, breath on the Nottingham evening air, and 0-0 at half-time, Pat.
It is, it's been a lively game. I'm not surprised that Nottingham Forest have fought and battled the way they have after that West Ham result. They know they have to chase for every point, but they've been well organised. The danger players for Arsenal have been kept relatively quiet right at the start. You looked at it, you thought Madueke is on fire. They've quieted him down as the games went on. Martinelli, apart from that brilliant chance he missed, he's been quieting down the second half of this first half. And you look at Arsenal just now, and you're immediately thinking, OK, what are you going to change? You're not thinking that about Forest. You're thinking, keep doing this, and opportunities will come for you. However, that's easy to say, because Forest, they know what they're doing. They know they want to defend. They know they want to try and play in the break. Whereas for Arsenal, they need to push forward. They'll be so disappointed they will only get a point today. I think the changes will come, not necessarily at half-time, but certainly within 10 minutes after half-time, if they do not get a goal then.
Well, as we said, this match represents a huge opportunity for both of them. And at half-time, either of them could yet take it. Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0.
Second half on the way. Earlier in the Premier League, Manchester United 2, Manchester City 0, Chelsea 2, Brentford 0. Injury time winner for Leeds as they beat Fulham 1-0. Burnley got a point at Anfield. It finished 1-1. Sunderland 2, Crystal Palace 1, and Callum Wilson scored in second half injury time to give West Ham a 2-1 win at Spurs. In the last few minutes, Nigeria have just won the third place playoff in the Africa Cup of Nations. They've beaten Egypt on penalties 4-2. Salah and Marmoush both missing penalties for the Egyptians. In the Championship earlier, leaders Coventry came from a goal down to beat Leicester by 2-1. Ipswich stay third. They beat Blackburn 3-0. Millwall and Watford met at Vicarage Road. Two sides with playoff hopes. Millwall won 2-0. Hull into the playoffs after a 2-1 win at Southampton. The League One leaders Cardiff won 2-1 at Bradford City. The League Two leaders Bromley were held to a goalless draw at Chesterfield. Boreham Wood have gone top of the National League with a 3-0 win at Braintree. In the Women's FA Cup, Chelsea beat Crystal Palace 5-0, so the holders are through. London City Lionesses won 1-0 at Sunderland. Big story in the Scottish Cup was Dunfermline of the Championship beating Premiership Hibs by a 1-0. In the Rugby Union Champions Cup, win so far for Sharks and Leinster and Stormers. So Leicester beaten at Stormers by 39 points to 26. Two games have reached half-time. Munster 12, Castres 17 and Toulouse a dominating Sale. They lead by 28 points to 0. And at the Masters Classic semi-final, first up, John Higgins beating Judd Trump by 6 frames to 5. 21 minutes past 6 will bring you reaction to the day's football after Jill Mackenzie in the news.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, some breaking news this afternoon. President Trump says he'll impose 10% tariffs on imports from the UK and other European countries because they've opposed his plan for the US to take over Greenland. He says the tariffs will take effect on the 1st of February and stay in place until a deal's agreed for the US to buy Greenland. David Willis is our correspondent in Washington.
President Trump has said that acquiring Greenland is essential, as he puts it, for the national security of the United States and for the future of his multi-billion-dollar Golden Dome missile defense system. And he threatened yesterday to impose additional tariffs on European nations that stood in his way as far as the acquisition of Greenland is concerned. Mr. Trump, of course, has threatened to do it, as he put it, the easy way or the hard way, either buying Greenland or sending military forces there to seize it. He has made good on that threat to impose tariffs 10% on the UK and other European nations, including Denmark, Norway, Sweden, France, Germany and Holland from the 1st of February, increasing to 25% from the 1st of June. Mr. Trump saying until such time as a deal is reached for the complete and total purchase of Greenland. Now, of course, there has been considerable opposition to the United States acquiring the territory of Greenland. Protests today in the Greenlandic capital, Nuuk. Basically saying, protesters saying that the island is not for sale. And Denmark has made the point that were the United States to attempt to seize Greenland by force, that would essentially mark the end of the North Atlantic Treaty Organisation.
That's David Willis in Washington. Here, the Conservatives, Lib Dems and Reform UK have all criticised the announcement. There's been no official response from the government yet. There is a live page covering this on the BBC News website, and we'll have more on 5 Live from 9 o'clock with Connor Phillips.
A new era of Formula One is about to dawn.
I think the biggest step the sport has ever seen.
There are new rules, new cars, and a brand new team.
In Formula One, it's just absolute, brutal, pure competition.
And the next generation of star drivers are taking us along for the ride too.
I'm gonna go like a madman.
If you want to make it, first of all, you have to believe that you have what it takes.
The biggest shake-up of F1's rulebook has been years in the making.
Somebody's gonna get it right and somebody's gonna get it wrong.
I'm Rosamund Pike, and this is F1 Back at Base. A new era. Listen first on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Goalless at the City Ground, back with John and Pat shortly. We're going to start our reaction to the day's football at the Stadium of Light because Oliver Glasner has given this interview to Vicky Sparks after Crystal Palace's 2-1 defeat to Sunderland.
I've seen a team that is leaving the heart on the pitch, but we've seen couldn't make a sub. We have no one on the bench. I feel that we are being abandoned completely, and because I can't blame any player. They did everything they could, and this is for weeks and months now. And we have 12, 13 players from the squad available, feel no support. And then the worst thing is we're selling our captain one day before a Premier League game. We're preparing, it's the first week we are training since September, and then we are selling our captain one day before a game. So I have no understanding for this, and I always kept my mouth, but I can't because I have to defend these players. Yeah? Because we have a few, it was the 35th game today. Yeah, and then yes, we get under pressure here. Then we're unlucky. I think it was deflected before. Yeah, but again, but if you can't react, we can't help them. So that makes it really tough tonight.
When you say abandoned, by who? Who do you mean?
It's pretty clear. Yeah, it's pretty clear. Yeah. Again, I didn't sell anyone. So if you get your heart torn out twice this season, one day before a game, it was with Eze in summer and it was with Gay now. What should I tell the players all the time? What should I tell them? And then I see the performance today for 50, 60 minutes. I was playing here not easy with all the circumstances, with going here with 12 players. You have 15 minutes, 20 minutes where you are under pressure. You can see the goal, and then, I look at the bench, can't react. Just kids on the bench.
Have you communicated those frustrations to the board, to the people at the club that you're frustrated with?
Of course they know it. We are talking all the time. But again, talk never wins a game.
He went on to say in his press conference later that he doesn't know if he will see the season out. Going to hear from another, I would imagine, disgruntled manager next. Tottenham 1, West Ham 2, a late winner from Callum Wilson. Here's Thomas Frank.
I think it's no secret that we work very, very, very hard to try to get the results. I think we put some overall good performances in. Are they through the roof? No. Are they bad? No. Are they enough to get more points we got? Yes. And then when you don't get it, and especially with 2 late goals, where especially Bournemouth and this game against West Ham, both the game we could have won. I should have won second half. We didn't, and you lose last minute. That's just so tough.
Is it the case though? I mean, there was the fans in particular were making themselves their dissatisfaction known. Do you worry that there's sort of a disconnect coming with the fans between them and the squad?
No, I think of course when you're not getting the result you're hoping for, there is it's just tougher times. As long as they do everything they can to back the players throughout the 90 minutes, then we can't ask for more. And then when we haven't got enough of the good results, then it's part of football, unfortunately, that there is not that satisfied fans after the game, which I completely understand.
Let's hear from a happy manager. A late winner gave Leeds a 1-0 win over Fulham. Here's Daniel Farker.
Sometimes you have a late heartbreak like we suffered at Newcastle, but today to win 3 points instead of 2 draws, I take definitely 1 win and 1 late loss away at Newcastle. Important point for us, important win for us, important 3 points for us, and for me, the best win of the season.
Really, that important? Is that in the context that perhaps West Ham have won as well? It just drags you a little bit closer to the end line? Why is it so important today?
Yes, especially on the game day when the other results are perhaps not that much in your favour, then you have to deliver. But for me also, like, clean sheet, important against the informed Fulham side. They had top results, top performances recently, also well-deserved win. We didn't give any chances away, and although we missed a few chances, we stayed relentless to the end. Late sucker punches yesterday with injuries of key players. Yeah, for me, fantastic day for us, and for me, definitely the best win of the season.
During Sports Report, we heard from Michael Carrick after Manchester United's 2-0 win over Manchester City. Now we can hear from Pep Guardiola.
Better team won. Congratulations United, they were better. They have for many reasons, long weeks, for many years behind in that situation, new manager, so we have energy we didn't have. Because 3 days ago in Newcastle we proved it, and the previous games in Sunderland or Brighton, Chelsea, we were good, and just we were not good enough up front, we could not do it, but I had the feeling that we didn't have, they had it and they deserve it.
Was it them being right on top of their game, or was it more a case of your players just weren't quite on it today?
I don't know, in the beginning of the game, but we didn't find, not defensively, we didn't have the intention to, in the final third, to score a goal, to make a crosses, to make a movement. We were more predictable, but that is a lack of, for many games, there's a lot of players we cannot rotate, and that is, today, I had the feeling that in Newcastle, look at the second half, how good we were, and today we missed that.
So much to talk about on 606 with Alistair Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton at the conclusion of the game at the City Ground. Who do you want to hear from? Cheery Chops?
I haven't got a clue, Marco.
You haven't got a clue who you want to hear from?
No,
excellent. Where have you been today?
I've been at netball today, not playing personally, watching my daughter, but just listened to 5 Live all afternoon. Brilliant afternoon on 5 Live. I mean, Oliver Glasner, I mean, his comments, we're being abandoned completely. I mean, how is that going to end for him? The Manchester derby, what a start for Michael Carrick. And you want to hear from Manchester United fans, was he the right appointment? What do you think is going to happen in the summer? Manchester City 3 points from 12, I think it is, in the Premier League now, all going a little bit flat. Pep hooking Haaland off today. And Spurs, there was a protest before the game. Time for change. Spurs fans, what do you want to happen? Is it a turning point for West Ham United, that win? And it's a big second half, isn't it, for Arsenal? And Daniel Farke, what did he say? Best performance of the season. Mm-hmm. So want to hear from Leeds United fans. Ipswich, big win in the Championship. Coventry came from behind, and little Norwich City winning away at Wrexham.
You must love Philippe Clement at the moment.
He's doing all right, isn't he? Well, Josh Sargent, I don't know whether you've seen the sort of news in the Eastern Daily Press over our way, refused to play. How can a player refuse to play?
I haven't seen it. I've seen it elsewhere, not in the Eastern Daily Press, but I have seen it elsewhere.
Yeah, out of order, Josh Sargent. Want to hear from Norwich City fans. But what a day.
What a day.
Liverpool slipped up. Well, did they?
Are you asking yourself questions?
Yeah, I often do.
08085 909 693. Let's hear from John Higgins, who's become the oldest man to reach the final of one of the big Triple Crown snooker tournaments. He's 50, reached the final of the Masters after beating Judd Trump 6-5, having been 5-3 down.
The crowd was just incredible again out there, so what a place to play. And most other days when I lose that frame to go 5-3 behind, I've maybe lost, but I don't know what it is this week. I just feel as if I'm enjoying it. I'm reveling in the atmosphere. I don't feel as nervous, and it was great.
And you through to the Masters final again. What does that mean to you?
Massive. These big events. I mean, they do. I mean, it's when you win matches in these big events, it's amazing the messages you get off people. I know we play in front of bigger crowds round about the world and in Asia and different things, but these events now, it does capture, I suppose, the UK imagination as well more. So to be in another big massive final, as you know, I've been probably back home watching these finals and so many years gone past, and I've always thought, now I'd love to be out there playing, and deep down you're maybe thinking your times maybe ran out to be playing in these big massive finals in front of the crowd. So as I said, overriding, it's proudness. I'm so proud. Proud.
Great story. He will play Kyron Wilson or Wu Yiza in the final. That semi-final is tonight, and you can watch it on BBC Two. All the goals, match of the day, 10:30 on BBC One with Alan Shearer and Wayne Rooney. And as the teams wait to come out for the second half, let's return to Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0 with Pat and John.
Thank you very much, Mark. And Mikel Arteta is not messing about here. 0-0 at half-time. He's making a change and he's bringing on Trossard and taking off Martinelli. And Trossard is trotting on to join the huddle of the blue and black Arsenal shirts over there in the middle of the half to our left, as the Nottingham Forest players are cheered out, clapped out by the home supporters. So there we are, Trossard on.
Yeah, tough kick for Martinelli. He's playing against Aina, who has been very, very good, hard to play against today. He's been too physical for him. Trossard's a very, very clever player, lots of intelligence about his game as well, so ask a different set of questions. And of course we all know Trossard's a fairly natural goal scorer as well. I don't think they'll be getting into the substitution for Arsenal. I think there'll be a few more in the next 5 or 10 minutes if they don't score.
Yeah, and after all, I know Martinelli scored the hat-trick at Fratton Park last Sunday, and on Wednesday came on as a substitute, but really this season Trossard has been first choice in that position, and he's on the field. Saka's still on the substitutes bench. Second half about to begin. Arsenal will kick off. There's the whistle from Michael Oliver. Declan Rice with the first touch of the second period. Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0, and immediately Sangare clatters it away downfield. Forest, as they started, with Sells in goal, a back four of Aina, Milenkovic, Murillo and Williams. In the midfield, Anderson, Sangare, Morgan Gibbs-White, Dominguez on the left, Hudson-Odoi on the right, and Igor Jesus through the middle. And Arsenal with Raya in goal, White, Saliba, Gabriel and Timber are the back four. The familiar midfield of Zubimendi, Odegaard and Rice. Madueke on the right now, Trossard on the left and Gyökeres through the middle. Remains to be seen whether we'll see Havertz later. I suspect we will. Here's Madueke though. White joins him. White with the cross. Left-footed clearance by Murillo. Odegaard plays it back in towards the Bridgeford stand where the Arsenal fans are. White gives it back to Odegaard, but Odegaard muscled off the ball by his opposite number 8, Elliot Anderson, who passes it forward to Morgan Gibbs-White, who gives it out to the right-hand side. And Forest take it back into their own half with Hudson-Odoi. Pat.
This is slightly less urgency at the start of this second half. The two teams are eyeing each other up a little bit, not going full tilt at it as they did for long periods of the first half, but I'm sure that will adapt as the game goes on.
Well, I did think, in terms of goal-scoring opportunities in the first half, they had chances that flashed wide. Sells has not made a save yet, and Opta tell us that they had 8 attempts on goal in the first half, Arsenal, which is the most in the first 45 minutes of a Premier League match without one on target since Mikel Arteta's first match in charge back in, when was that, 2019.
I mean, at least one of them, and possibly two of them, should have been on target, let's be fair. So that was just purely an error.
A bit of a statistical quirk.
It is. I mean, you have to remember that you get outliers now and again in statistics, and that seems a little bit one of them. Having said that, Arsenal fans are trying to get behind their team just now. They know how important it is. That 9 point we were talking about beforehand, it's still looming. 7 would be good, but they'd love it to be 9.
Yeah. And it could, of course, turn out to be a very good weekend for Aston Villa, who play Everton tomorrow. That's our 4:30 commentary. So Villa-Everton, 4:30, Wolves-Newcastle at 2 o'clock. You'll hear them on 5 Live. Forest will throw in front of Sean Dyche, the track-suited Sean Dyche, who tells him where to throw it. He duly throws it there. It's won by Saliba, back to the halfway line where Gyökeres loses out. Must have a word from you, Pat, on what you've thought of Gyökeres so far and where you think he is. Here's Aina though on the right. Oh, lovely turn from Hudson-Odoi. Back to Gibbs-White, edge of the area, trying to take a touch, to take it round Zubimendi, but didn't get the touch he wanted. Just really bobbled it, and Zubimendi was able to clear. And now here he is again, the excellent midfield Spaniard Zubimendi with his forward ball that is cleared away by Murillo.
The quality of the ball by Hudson-Odoi, the take he had was absolutely phenomenal at the start of that, and that led to that half a chance there.
And there's Gabriel leaning into Igor Jesus. still inside the Forest half, went down, no free kick given. Did you see the goal that Hudson-Odoi scored against Wrexham last weekend on the Friday night? Oh, it was some goal. Connor, who was commentating, immediately said, well, that's it. That's the best goal of the third round. And that was in the first match of the third round. But having seen it, I do back it up. You must look it up. It's still on the BBC website if you search for it. It's out of play for a throw into Madueke. Actually, he's going to leave it to Ben White behind him. Mikel Arteta standing down there. Mikel Arteta, arms folded. The strongest squad. This is their best chance. Mikel Arteta and his team, who finished, don't forget, runners-up 3 years in a row in the Premier League in the last 3 seasons. But now they're in the driving seat. White takes the throw, comes back to Zubamendi, who I feel, Pat, £55 million. He has been worth every penny.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the controlling of games, what he's allowed Declan Rice to do since he's come in. Declan has spent a lot of time, doing that defensive stuff, covering for a lot of players. Whereas him and Zubamendi, they can spell it. One of them can go forward, the other can wait. It's usually Zubamendi that sits and controls it, and it gives Declan Rice a chance to go and just fly forward. And at the moment, he's not had a great effect in the second half, or the latter part of the first half as well, Declan Rice, but he's always capable of doing something now that he's freer.
Arsenal in possession inside their own half, just knocking it around. Timber actually steps into the midfield here, into the midfield position, gives it out to Rice, who swings a high pass right across field from the far side over here to the right, where it's headed out of play by Dominguez, and it's a throw-in to Arsenal. Yes, if Rodri gets himself fully fit in time for the World Cup, and that Spanish squad has Zubamendi and Rodri as the two midfielders, they're going to take a bit of getting around. Here's White, takes the throw, plays it back towards the halfway line on this cold afternoon or evening, right beside the River Trent. I suspect there might be a little bit of mist rolling in as we sit here. Odegaard.
Shouldn't you sing that?
Well, I think they know how to sing it here. Out to the left-hand side, Rice passing it forward, and then Trossard involved in the action. He was a little bit of a doubt for Wednesday night after missing the cup tie at Portsmouth, Trossard, so maybe partly explains why he wasn't in the starting lineup. But it comes back to the edge of the area. What about Gyökeres then? The Arsenal man, £64 million striker.
I think most Arsenal fans now would agree with him. Technically, he's not the best striker you've ever seen, and his hold-up play hasn't been brilliant today. And he's kind of a bit of a battering ram, but that's a bit pointless against certain centre-backs like the centre-backs you've got today.
Declan Rice just concedes a free kick centre field.
And one of the other things, when you get the ball and you hold it up, you must, don't run it wide. If you can hold it up and essentially allow players to support you, but he's not been able to do that. And the likes of Kai Havertz is a far better technical player than Gyökeres just now. So I suspect short, but definitely medium term, Havertz is going to get the nod when he's fit again.
Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0. Lines are open for 6:06. It's Alistair Bruce Ball with Chris Sutton tonight. 08085 909 693. That is free to ring from mobiles and landlines. You can text 85058, just standard message rate, hashtag BBC 606. I think after the football that we've had today, that could be very eventful tonight. Lots of callers, so book your call, get in early. Murillo hits a long pass downfield, but that will go all the way through to Raya at the other end. And of course there is still what might happen here. It is still Swansea 1, Birmingham 0 in the 5:30 kickoff in the Championship, and Southend winning 1-0 at York in the National League. Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0, Arsenal in possession.
It's quite flat, isn't it, from Arsenal? Really, this first 7 or 8 minutes, you thought, right, OK, put a little bit of pressure on, start sharp again. It has been a little bit flat. They've not got it out to the wide players, not really asking any massive questions, and I think Arteta would maybe be very, very frustrated just now.
Trossard passing it forward, but Sangare was in the way of that. So it is Hudson-Odoi now, out on the right flank. Blue and black Arsenal shirts getting back into position. And it's Forest who have it as they attack towards the Trent end, which is the proverbial sea of faces, row after row, in the top tier and the bottom tier. As Dominguez the Argentine, playing in the wide position today in the 4-2-3-1, wins a throw-in, level with the edge of the Arsenal penalty area. Dominguez gets it back, a low ball into the penalty area, but blocked at the near post by Saliba, and Arsenal will calmly play it away. Madueke overruns that though, and Forest have got it back. Gibbs-White stepped in. Now Hudson-Odoi's appeared here on the left-hand side, back heels it to Dominguez, and then back to Gibbs-White. Gibbs-White has a look forward, looks to his right, then turns to his left. Hudson-Odoi is still here. It's Hudson-Odoi against Madueke, takes him on, looks to get the crossover, and the falling Madueke blocks it out. Corner Forest.
It's not just the supporters who know that Arsenal have been a little bit sluggish this second half. If you're playing against a team and you expected them to come out all guns blazing, put you under pressure, you're defending deep, all that sort of stuff, and then it doesn't happen, you think, okay then, we'll have a go now. How long did I say it would take Havertz to come on? 10 minutes?
Yeah, nearly there now.
9.5 minutes gone.
Yeah. Corner to Forest though. Elliot Anderson to take this from the left-hand side. The Trent end awaits into the near post, flicked on by Dominguez, that flicked it to Trossard in the Arsenal shirt, who was able to hook it away over his own head and out of play for a throw-in over there as Aina just trots over, and the people in the lower tier of the first few rows of the Brian Clough stand clap furiously as he runs towards him. So Aina waiting to take this throw-in.
For Arsenal fans sitting waiting, it ain't going to be Havertz, it's going to be Jesus.
Forrest coming forward again. Here's the left back, Williams, Nico Williams, the Welsh international, passes it behind Elliot Anderson. Anderson's able to work it with his left foot to Hudson-Odoi, and he passes it in. Gibbs-White on the edge of the area was challenged just as he was looking to, as they say, pull the trigger. Declan Rice just stepped in, and in the end he sort of miscued the shot by 5 or 6 yards wide and low, and it's a goal kick to Arsenal.
It's one of those ones, he's about 19-20 yards out and he goes to hit it, but because his back lift touches the player behind him, which is Declan Rice, he thinks he's been fouled. But he's actually kind of kicked Declan Rice. He has, so I know it feels that differently, but it's not the case of triple substitution.
11 goalless minutes in the second half. Mikel Arteta, who's already brought on Trossard, is bringing on Saka, Marino and Gabriel Jesus. So no Havertz yet, as you correctly said.
We were talking about this before. Again, one of the real impressive things about Arsenal, you know, they're not always brilliant in the first half, but the changes you can make, the liveliness you can bring into it is incredible. And it's okay, Jesus can score, you know, Saka can create, but Marino, he's no slouch at getting into the box either. So if you're Forrest, you're thinking, right, okay, we better watch ourselves now. I expect a lift in Arsenal's play now.
Odegaard off. I presume
Marino,
Madueke off.
Yes, Madueke, Saka. And trust.
Who was the other player who came on?
Jesus Gyökeres.
Gyökeres, yeah. So that is it then for Gyökeres after his goal and his assist at Stamford Bridge. Nothing today, and really probably should have done better with the chance that he had when he was sent through in the first half, and Murillo was able to get back and put the block in. So a triple change for Arsenal, and I think that tells you a lot about Mikel Arteta, what he wants out of this. They've got the opportunity to go 9 points clear at the top of the Premier League, and he's not going to mess about trying to make sure he gets it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, everyone knows that 60, 65 minutes, that's the time they usually go for. But I was just thinking at half-time, he's not going to wait that long. You can't wait that long. You need to get this changed as quickly as possible. And he's done it, you know, before that. It's not even the hour mark yet, giving those players a wee chance to have an effect in the game.
Yeah, so he can make only one more change. As it is Forrest who are attacking, but Hudson-Odoi claiming that should have been a corner as he took it on, ran away from him, and it's behind, it's given as a goal kick. And Bayern Munich equalised, by the way. They're playing Leipzig at the moment. That's third against first in the Bundesliga. Gnabry has scored, so it's 1-1 in that match. So Gyökeres is off. Oh, Saka's won it back from Williams. Now takes it onto the byline, gets the cross in. Shot going from Rice. Sells diving to his left, makes the save. There was a defender there as well. Mishit by Rice actually from 15 yards or so. Bounced it down into the ground, but Sells still had to save it.
Do you know when you want a reaction? You've got it immediately. And it is that man Saka. He's so lively, wins the ball back there. And the ball's played on the half volley, good technique from Rice. He's not got a lot of power on, but just to get it on target was plenty. Trossard may have been tempted to go and redirect that. He didn't do it, and that's why the keeper saved it.
So now, Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0. Just when Arsenal need a goal, they've got themselves a corner. Saka is back on the field. Now is the substitute. He's got this delivery from the right-hand side. Saka plays it in left-footed. Sells comes for it. Goalkeeper gets a punch to it. Bounces down. Trossard trying to keep it inside the penalty area. Bouncing ball. Touched away from him. And Hudson-Odoi is able to collect it for Forest. And with his right foot, plonks one downfield for Aina to chase. Aina again in on the challenge, but Timber is there as well, and it's out of play for a throw into the home side.
Just a minute ago something happened. I was talking too technically in half-time about what Gyökeres doesn't do. When he gets the ball, he holds it and it goes away from him, and it doesn't stick in the box. Trossard, much smaller player. The ball drops in the box there, he holds it. Doesn't matter if there's a big player, they cannot go round you and they cannot foul you in the box. It's things like that Gyökeres really has to learn if he's going to be very successful at this level.
So Gabriel Jesus now up front for Arsenal, just the one goal so far since his return. It's Forest though coming forward. Williams turns and gives it back behind him to Dominguez. Now Williams again. Williams still going. Zubimendi is able to come across though and put the challenge in. After he went initially past White, it's out of play for a throw-in. 10 yards up the 10 yards back from the corner flag. Amari Hutchinson is there. Amari Hutchinson was once on the bench for Arsenal against Forest here in one of those cup ties I was mentioning in the first half as an Arsenal youngster.
Do you know what? I like that thinking. The reason being is I think White's looking a wee bit rusty at the moment. You know, not leggy, not moving so quickly. So I think Sean Dyche is looking at thinking he can maybe stress that area.
Yeah, relatively little football this season. This is just his 15th appearance across all of the competitions. Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0. Forest roll it out here to Williams. I make it on my piece of paper here. I have not put down a single Forest chance. Murillo trying to maraud his way through the central defender to the edge of the area, but that comes to nothing. And Bukayo Saka is able to take it away, and then he is surrounded by Forest players, goes tumbling down to general Forest outrage. That is given as an Arsenal free kick.
I think it was weight on numbers that he gave that against him for. That was 3 players went in to try and tackle him at the same time. I actually thought they got the ball clean there. I don't think there was a foul there. And judging by the look of incredulity on Sean Dyche's face, I think he may agree with that.
I think Messrs Dyche, Waln, Loughlin and Stone all agree with you. However, the referee gave the free kick, and so Arsenal take it back to the halfway inside their own half. Yes, 6:06 tonight, don't miss it. Alistair Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton, 08 085 909 693, as Gabriel passes it forward to Trossard. Arsenal still inside their own half, and Trossard is being hassled and harried from behind by Aina and wins the free kick halfway inside his own half.
Isn't that good? Aina halfway inside his own half. That's the point of it. He's so close to him. He's pushing him that far up the park that Trossard isn't getting the ball where he wants to. Again, Aina's had a pretty fabulous game so far. The man who was marking first has been subbed, and the guy he's playing against, he's now pushing him right back into his own half. We'll see if that lasts.
That is the voice of Pat Nevin with us on 5 Live. Pat will be part of our Champions League commentaries this coming week. You're going to be watching Newcastle against PSV, aren't you? I'll be headed to the Arctic Circle, to Bodo Glimt against Manchester City, which is an early start on Tuesday, so drive finishes early, 5:45 kickoff. Do not miss that. And all of the other matches Tuesday, Wednesday. We've got commentary as well on the Rangers and Celtic matches in the Europa League on Thursday night on Sports Extra. It is Arsenal who are in possession but still being held by Nottingham Forest here at the City ground. And Timber in the centre circle for Arsenal, currently operating as the left back, most of this season as the right back, very effectively. Trossard now whips it in. Marino stretches forward but can't get contact to that at the near post. just trying to get a little deflection across goal, but failed, and it's through, and it's a goal kick for us.
And that's the joy of bringing Marino on, because we know he can be a makeshift centre forward, and he's playing in that 8/10 position where he'll go and help Jesus up there, and that break from that area there, no one followed him at all. He was in front of the front post, so it's going to be really difficult for him to turn that one in, but he is a danger coming from midfield.
Yeah, little foul on Williams, so Forest with a free kick. In the Rugby Union, in the Champions Cup, Munster 12, Cast 17 and Toulouse 26, Sale 0 are the latest scores. Later on tonight, Gloucester Toulon is on Sports Extra from 7:45, which you can listen to on the BBC Sounds app, as you can all of the live BBC radio. There's groans because Saliba takes possession now. Gabriel, he just passes the ball along the surface of the pristine City Ground pitch to Trossard. Rice on the overlap to the byline, left-footed cross, headed goalwards. Oh, the diving save to keep out a header from Bukayo Saka. That's a bit of a collector's item. It's heading in, but Sells flung himself and got a hand to deflect it around the post.
Well, first of all, it was going in slow motion, wasn't it? He's got up there, he's got the header, he's not got any power on it, but he's got the right direction. It's going into that corner, and you're absolutely right. It is fingertips. He's just turned it round. Good play in the build up there from Declan Rice, and you're now seeing Marino and Rice breaking from midfield, looking quite dangerous over the last 2 minutes.
Sells is being crowded. In comes the corner, goal deflection, which takes it wide. And the final touch was off an Arsenal man. I think Murillo got the first touch to it, headed it into Gabriel, who was arriving at pace, and it hit him and bounced wide.
Yeah, it's kind of noticeable, the slight difference in the play now. When Marino's come on, he's basically trying to get from that midfield area. Many years gone past would have been called inside forward, but it's the 8 and the 6 or the 10 usually, getting into those areas, arriving late, very, very hard to stay with them. And both Marino and Declan Rice are trying to do that just now, to try and get some capital out of the new wingers.
Well, they are, Pat, technically getting closer, Arsenal, because Sells has now made 2 saves after that first half of not having an attempt on target. They are forcing the Forest goalkeeper to work. Ball centre field. Gabriel Jesus under a challenge, I think, from Milenkovic. Went to ground, sitting on the ground, obviously claiming he thought he'd been fouled, and then miss-hit pass forward by Timber that just bounces all the way through for a goal kick, and it's still 0-0. Gabriel Jesus has just put his hand to his
mouth. He was caught, John. He was
by
caught.
Milenkovic.
Yeah, he was caught. Flailing the elbow of Milenkovic. I don't think it was anything deliberate. You need to put your arms up when the ball's coming down. Wouldn't have felt like that to Gabriel Jesus, would it have?
Well, Jesus is making it very clear to the referee Oliver that he was caught. I don't think there's any blood there.
No.
We do have 2 Jesuses on the field, which is against the accepted Christian doctrine. Yes. So we do have to call one of them Gabriel Jesus and the other Igor Jesus. As Gabriel Jesus takes that down, and then he's buffeted by Sangare, and the two of them are having a little conversation together as they run. There's a little bit of, still Jesus turns to Sangare, even though the ball is over here on the right-hand side, he's still chatting away to Sangare. How much chattering did you used to do, Pat, to fullbacks?
Withering looks were my speciality.
That is, you cornered the market in withering looks. Smouldering withering looks. Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0.
Almost a Paddington stare.
Hard stare. Ben White, Saka. Now it comes back to White again. It's still 0-0 if you just joined us. Marino, he's challenged by Murillo, who went in to win the ball, got a bit of the man. Free kick now in a good position for Arsenal.
I think Murillo knew exactly what he was doing there. It'd be completely done. So he thought, you're not getting by me, you're getting into a dangerous area. And about 25 yards out, he was out of position, so he took the hit. I was a little bit lucky not to get a yellow card for that. It was quite cynical.
Marino's already been involved in the match in the way that Odegaard wasn't really in the first half. He was only really on the fringes, wasn't he?
He got marked out of it. I mean, most of the time it was Anderson that was on him. Now and again, and Sangare would mark him, but he very much was marked out again.
Declan Rice, I think, is going to have a go with this. Remember the goals, the free kick goals, the Rice baby goals that he scored last season. They're still the only 2 goals that he scored from direct free kicks.
I think they've got something organised here.
Yeah, well, he is looking across. He certainly wants to give that impression, Pat. There's the signal. Rice does curl it into the back post, and that's easily and comfortably headed away by Murillo. Whatever they had planned, Rice wasn't able to execute this time. It's back to Saka now on the right with the yellow boots, then onto his right foot. Here's the cross, it's a deep one, but the far side of the penalty area is headed down. Jesus was in there inside the 6-yard box. Defender as well, Sells 2, and between them, somebody's got a touch on that to deflect it wide, and it is a corner to Arsenal.
Well, the plan's working. Substitute, puts it into the back post. Marino, as I say, player who can play as a centre forward, gets to the back post, heads it down, and of course Gabriel Jesus, natural centre forward, he is flying in there between the posts. Very unlucky not to get in the end of it. Those changes have made a difference. Arsenal on top again.
Yeah, Marino's header, it's actually a decent save that as well from Sells, even though the defender was there. So it's another Arsenal corner. Does have a feeling that it might be coming. Saka takes it. Gabriel Jesus, Gabriel is trying to get his head to that, and then it's cleared away for Arsenal. For Forest out for a throw-in near the halfway line. Just crowded out Gabriel in there. And so Forest were able to deal with it effectively.
One of the big things, John, about Arsenal this season, isn't it? They have sneaked it when they had to, haven't they? Quite a few times near the end of games, they have, as they say in the trade, found a way. It classically feels like one of them, doesn't it?
Marino's won a free kick. This is 30 yards out, and this Arsenal pressure will continue with another set piece. Harry Kane has scored for Bayern Munich, and they've turned it around at Leipzig, so it's Leipzig 1, Bayern Munich 2 in the Bundesliga. Still Swansea 1, Birmingham 0 in the Championship, 5:30 kickoff. And Arsenal now with this free kick over towards the left-hand side. But given the angle, it's all of 30 yards, maybe more than that. So this is a real test for Forest. After West Ham's win earlier, Forest can get anything out of this. And they are really, right now, in this match, 20 minutes to play, they are backs to the wall. Rice takes the free kick and Marino gets the header to it, but could only glance it all the way through, beyond the far post, as all of those players arrived. And it is a goal kick.
The quality of the ball's absolutely fantastic. There is nothing, absolutely nothing you can do about that if you're a defender, or indeed if you're a goalkeeper as well. And Marino, he's inches away. They are getting, as you say, closer and closer and closer. Marino's had 2 great headers there. That should probably be on target though.
It's a wonder that touch didn't actually take it in.
Yeah, and when it leaves his head, he thinks, well, that's a goal. You know, because he's redirected it towards the goal. Keeper's never going to save it, but they're getting close.
Yeah, they are. And Forest still with the team that started. And Marino's has gone down after a challenge from Anderson, centre field. Ball's bounced out of play. Michael Oliver has stopped it here, and now it's Marino who's putting his hand to his face just to check and see if there's any blood, which there isn't. And Marino now points at Anderson, and Anderson is talking back to Marino, and Marino is now pointing at his chin, and the two of them are having a conversation from 3 or 4 yards away from one another. So
he's got a point though. The elbow did come out. The elbow did come out from Anderson. But it is classic one. There is only one person who knows if that was deliberate. Only one person. And Anderson will know whether he meant the elbow in there. But because it's a tussle in midfield, the ball's up there between them, I don't think that ever he can call that.
Birmingham City have equalised. 72nd minute, Patrick Roberts. So Swansea 1, Birmingham 1. Birmingham City will be one of our FA Cup 4th round commentary venues next month, almost in the middle of next month. Birmingham against Leeds United. Williams takes this throw downfield, headed away. Williams heads it forward again, and then Igor Jesus goes down and does his best to win the free kick, which he has got, and this is 30 yards out for Forest. And finally that relentless Arsenal pressure has been relieved by the centre forward winning a free kick.
Yeah, well done, Gibbs White. I think it was Gibbs White. He held on, he backed in. When the arms came round, he didn't just fall down, he was dragged down a little bit. It is it's been really difficult for Gibbs White and Igor Jesus to get in the game because of the defenders that are against, but they have not stopped working.
Yeah, you're right, Gibbs White it was. Anderson takes the free kick into the penalty area, though it's headed away for Arsenal. Comes back to the Nottingham Forest man though, Dominguez. Then forward to Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi, who's often a run down into the full-back position. And then he has to turn and then plays it in the area. Dominguez, double bounce to the ball off Rice. But that takes it through to Raya, who very nimbly steps in and bends down, whips it away off the toe of Dominguez.
It's almost every time Callum Hudson's got the ball, he's done something interesting or different or exciting. Problem is, he's not getting enough of the ball, and that's not his fault.
Now it's Arsenal again. Here we go, back, looking towards our right. Trossard with the ball outside the penalty area, still 0-0 if you've just joined us after Manchester City's defeat to United in the Manchester derby. Arsenal, they win this, will be 9 points clear, but it's still 0-0. And time beginning to disappear. But White for Arsenal, just outside the Forest box, to his right to Saka. Saka with two Forest players, comes in field. Saka trying to find a position, edge of the D now, works it into the area, Rice with a flick, then it's played across from the left-hand side, but straight into the arms of Sells, who's able to drop forward and claim the ball.
Yeah, but once again, Saka, because he takes players out of play, he moves defences. He runs three players out of their own position, and that confuses defences. They hate being moved like that. So since he's come on, I mean, there have been a few changes, but since Saka come on, he's the one that's made the difference more than anyone else.
And that is it. So Forrest now finally, Sean Dyche making his first substitution with 15 minutes to play, and the lone striker Igor Jesus is replaced by the Swiss international Dan N'Doye, who so they've got N'Doye, Dominguez and Hudson-Odoi in it, and it is N'Doye who looks as though he will play through the middle of number 14.
They needed to make a difference. Nothing was staying up front and with Igor Jesus, and it's tough. He's playing against two very good centre-backs, and he's getting very, very little ball there.
Long pass from White, bounces nicely for Saka. He lifts it across the penalty area, but Gabriel Jesus wasn't getting there, and Matt Sells was able to step forward and catch the bouncing ball. Still 0-0 on 5 Live, and Gibbs White playing it back to Murillo. Chip forward to Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi now running and then passing the ball, and this is for N'Doye to run onto. Hudson-Odoi and N'Doye on the field at the same time.
It's going to make things easy.
Don't get confused, as Hudson-Odoi will get it back and try to go around the outside of Saka, who he did well there, Saka anyway. Put himself in between Hudson-Odoi and the ball, then felt the contact, then went down and wins the free kick for Arsenal.
Yeah, but he's working hard. That's one of the great things about Saka. As time's gone by, he's just added more and more things to his game and become a better player. I mean, the amount of times he used to just always go inside, you know, a couple of seasons ago. Now he can go inside, now he can go outside. He lifts his head up more, he picks out passes more than he ever did before, and his work rate going back, that's improved as well, and he really is becoming the complete wide attacker, or is arguably already the complete wide attacker.
Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0, in front of a crowd of 30,729. Don't know whether you've seen, Pat, they've got plans, you know, which are approaching to rebuild this stand, the Peter Taylor stand. So that'll increase the capacity to something like 35,000, and ultimately the goal is to really completely renovate the City ground and make it a stadium of over 50,000. Here is White, then back to Saliba. Saliba's attempted clearance is closed down by N'Doye, and then he pulled his shirt. Saliba pulled the Forest man's shirt, and that's a free kick.
I can sense a slight surprise in the voice there. Does that not look like a yellow card to you?
Well, yeah.
Very much looks to me. I mean, it's very deliberate. He was out of position there. He dragged him back. He's given the free kick. Usually then, so big call this one.
Well,
very big call.
Here, the 5th Arsenal change, the 5th substitution. Eza coming on for Zubamendi.
So clearly, you would imagine, you would say Declan Rice, right, you sit back a little bit now. You cover that area, Eze get the ball in the last third, try and run it, players. I fully understand that, but here's the question: You've got 12 minutes plus a wee bit of injury time left. What if somebody gets injured?
Yep.
Put yourself in a really... Just shows you how much the 3 points mean to Mikel Arteta. He does not want one, he wants 3.
Doesn't it just? Anderson with this free kick then, but overhits it. Raya's able to come and take the catch. And these are big minutes for Eza now, who's been kind of on the fringes almost since the hat-trick. Gabriel Jesus playing it across. Eza tries to bring it down, bouncing ball, still inside the Forest area. Gabriel Jesus gets a flick on it and it bounces behind. Arsenal fans there claiming that it struck the arms of Aina. He knew nothing about that. It hit him and bounced behind. It's a corner.
Very, very harsh that bit. One of the nice things for the Arsenal players are they are shooting into where all their fans are just now. And they know how important this is as well. So there's plenty of attacking options on that field now for Arsenal.
There's only 10 minutes to go. Just over 10 minutes. Still Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0. Arsenal have scored in all but 2 matches this season. There's only one team they've not scored against, Liverpool. Corner for Rice to take.
Are they waiting for this? Yeah,
I'll
tell you what. Just seen another angle, and Aina seems to drag the ball to keep it in play.
So there are 2 Forest players there. It's Anderson, isn't it, who's behind him? And as it bounces away, it's been cleared.
Oh, that could be given. That might be given as a penalty kick to Arsenal. And it wasn't even a dangerous error, but I think there's movement towards the ball. Whether he meant it or not, there's movement towards the ball.
Is that a natural movement or not with the arm? So the 2 players are right together. Anderson's behind him, so he's putting pressure on. Does Anderson knock the arm?
Yeah, I think that's what he'll say.
Yeah. Anderson knocks his own player's arm, Aina, which then touches the ball.
See, if the Arsenal fans could see that just now on some sort of monitor, they would be going mad.
Well, I suspect, Pat, all around the UK and wherever Arsenal fans are around the world, that's what'll be happening. Corner, and the referee blows his whistle because Forest player has tried to block Gabriel, and it was the Forest player who ended up on the ground, Dominguez, and so the 2 of them are having a right set to. Dominguez has got the job here of blocking Gabriel.
He's not even looking anywhere near the ball at any point.
He's holding Gabriel, who then finds his space. Saliba actually gets ahead of the corner, then Gabriel heads it across the box. Forrest only half headed away, still just out of the area. Then Saka gets a touch to force it forward, back down to Gabriel Jesus, who is now unceremoniously bundled off the pitch by Anderson. Whether the ball was already out, I think it was already out, but Anderson made sure that Gabriel Jesus was going to get a right royal shupping.
Do you know, down at that corner down there was a player who used to do that exact thing to me, right in that blade of grass. A certain left full-back.
Mr. S. Pierce.
Oh yes,
Esquire.
Frequently. Very similar thing. Make sure you know you've been in a tackle. Just as it happened there, I looked over at Sean Dyche, and there he was standing applauding with his hands above his head. He liked that.
Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0. And maybe the Arsenal lead tonight will be, in inverted commas, only 7 points. Throw-in, White takes this all the way back into his own half. Well, we say it so often, don't we? The top teams, the championship chasing teams that do go on and win the title, so very often all over the years, are the teams that come up with the late goals and win matches just like the one that they're involved in here. Forest on the back foot. 6 minutes of the 90 to play, plus added time. Mikel Arteta has made his 5 substitutions. Eza coming on. Eberici Eza, who's started just 4 of the last 13 now. Saka with the ball on the right. Back to Saliba, who returns it to Saka, who dances infield and then passes it straight into the box, straight into the path of Anderson, who's able to clear it away downfield. Now the player is a throw-in on the halfway line. It's going to be one-way traffic, it would seem now, for the remainder of this match, from left to right towards the Bridgeford stand, with Arsenal and the momentum.
And to be fair, they've had most of the play for most of the game. They've created the better chances.
Ball in to the edge of the penalty area, bounces away from Timber though, and then Timber commits the foul as Anderson looked to bring it away. It's well defended, needed a better touch from Timber, but well played by Anderson, who wins the free kick.
You get the feeling this place will erupt if Nottingham Forest get a point out of this. That will be plenty for these fans just now, for the effort the team have put in and the importance of getting every point's a prisoner now for them, isn't it? Just to keep away from that relegation zone. Yeah,
after West Ham's win, this, were it to be a point for Nottingham Forest, and feels like we're still a long way from confirming that. That would mean that they'd be 5 points ahead of the relegation zone in West Ham this evening. Free kick, Sells to take this. The City Crown trying to do its bit, but there again the Arsenal fans in the City Ground trying to do their bit for the Gunners. Ball inside the Arsenal half, a rare event in the second half. Here's Williams, who's got Saka with him, plays it back to Murillo, and Murillo, knowing that Gabriel Jesus is there or thereabouts, turns and passes it back to his goalkeeper, all in yellow. Long downfield from Sells, bounces into the gloves of the man at the other end. The two joint Golden Glove winners in the Premier League last season, Sells and Raya. Raya's been a virtual spectator in the second half. Ball passed forward. Good slide from Nico Williams for Forest, and then a free kick goes after Saka just stepped in and caught Dominguez. Free kick to Forest, deep inside their own half.
Comes under the heading clever, doesn't it, from Dominguez there. I don't think there was a great deal in that there. Just felt a little tap, goes down. He looks exhausted now. There's a lot of the Forest players that they've not jumped out at you and having, brilliant games, but they've been so efficient. And I have to say, Sangare and Anderson in the centre of that midfield area, the tirelessness, the fact that they have done the ugly stuff consistently through the game and done it consistently well against real quality players. They really are at special games.
Yeah, Sangare coming back from Ivory Coast is
big help, really big help for Forest.
I'm sure Sean Dyche will talk about that later. You'll hear him during the course of 606. Lines are open. Ali Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton would love to hear from you. 08 085 909 693. Hudson Odoi gets away down the left-hand side for Forest, takes it to the byline, then cuts back, right-footed to the edge of the area. Gibbs White arriving, but almost fell over it as he arrived at pace. Timber was just in front of him, and as a result could only steer the shot 5 yards wide.
Couldn't get his feet right, but it was brilliant feet to get the ball out and wide. In the first place there, he was the man that actually played it there, Gibbs White, and he kept on going, he kept on moving, and eventually gets the shot, but like a lot of these other Forest players, absolutely exhausted. I'm trying to see who's gone down there. Is it Dominguez? Because he was struggling a wee bit earlier on with a bit of cramp.
He's done well as well, hasn't he, Dominguez? Bayern Munich now 3-1 up at Leipzig. Jonathan Tah with the latest goal. Australian Open begins overnight. Tennis breakfast on Sports Extra from 7 a.m. Arsenal take this free kick inside their own penalty area, and forward it comes. What have we got left, Pat? Less than 3 minutes of the 90 to play. Saka on the right. He receives it. Goes around Dominguez. Saka then plays it left-footed out to the far side. Trossard backing away. Brings that one down. He's up against Aina. Aina takes him one way, then the other. Gets the cross in left-footed. Little flick off the head of Dominguez inside his own penalty area to clear the box. Possession taken up again by Saliba. Gives it infield to Declan Rice. Arms swinging as he looks at the options that he has. Saka then receives it. Saka back to Declan Rice. Rice then works it with his left foot. Back to Saliba. Saliba now to White, who's down in the left back position. Then back to Saliba. His cross to the back post. That's over everyone. Trossard has to scamper out. Keep possession for Arsenal. And his pass was almost gave it away. But crucially for Arsenal, a stretch from Saliba keeps the ball, from Gabriel keeps the ball. Back to Saka on the right-hand side. Saka now with two Forest men on him. Saka trying to work his way into the box, then back out of it again. Saliba on the right. Saliba's cross, but I think he might actually have run it over the dead ball line before he got his foot to it, so it's a goal kick, and we will now see the next Forest change with Amari Hutchinson the former Arsenal youngster, coming onto the field to replace Dominguez, who is getting a great ovation. Milenkovic comes across, that rugged Serbian central defender, and gives him a pat on the chest. So Hutchinson will come on after getting a run in the team. Hutchinson left out today.
Yeah, but I mean, you needed hard workers in there, you needed physicality in that area. And Sean Dyche has just basically asked him. I mean, he said it when he came into the job, didn't he, Sean Dyche? I want people to work. That's number one. There is no option. You will have to work all the way through every single game, or you will not be playing here. Well, they've all taken that to heart, haven't they? And certainly you can say that Dominguez has given everything he's got, and these fans know that. The applause that he got, and all the rest of the team will get the same applause as well, because work rate is not a problem.
Bayern Munich now 4-1 up at Leipzig. Pavlovic with the latest goal. And York have equalised late on against Southend. It's 1-1 there. Still Swansea 1, Birmingham 1. And in the Rugby Union Champions Cup, it's finished. Munster 29, Cast 31. Still playing. Toulouse 63 on the way to victory against Sale. 68-7 is now the score. We're in the 90th minute here.
How many are you going for, John? 5 maybe?
Yes, I'll go 5.
Yeah. I'd go 5 too.
Yeah, and it is 5. 5 minutes.
You can just feel it oddly, can't you? Yeah. You can weirdly feel it.
5 minutes then, either for Arsenal to get this late goal that I've referenced, or indeed for Forest to snatch it. And it would be a snatch of the day, wouldn't it, if Forest won this? But Arsenal, Declan Rice points at Saliba, who's got the ball, passes it forward to Eza. Eza turns on that halfway line. I know there was a feeling that Eza didn't track back when they lost to Aston Villa, but now they lose possession, Arsenal, and Forest bring it downfield with Callum Hudson-Odoi, who actually flicks it back heel to Williams, who is behind him, and Eza comes in, trapping back, and puts that ball out of play for a throw-in to Forest.
Yeah, he won't do it again, and that's the problem. If you do make a mistake in this Arsenal team, or if something is seen as slightly failing, you're not getting the team, because there's so much quality there. I haven't said that, again down this right-hand side, there does seem a little weakness. I mentioned it before, White not absolutely 100% at his best yet, and certainly not adding a great deal going forward.
No, the first choice for the most part of this season has been Calafiori at left-back, hasn't it, and Timber at right. Ball is passed forward. Calafiori, though, currently out injured, and the ball touched out of play by Aina to throw into Arsenal. There's urgency now. Bayern Munich now 5-1 up. Elise has scored, another of the Crystal Palace players, of course, that have been sold under Oliver Glasner. If you're a Palace fan on the way back from Sunderland, and if you've heard Oliver Glasner's comments, that will be certainly one of the talking points on 606 tonight. So Palace fans, certainly. Ali and Chris want to hear from you. Ball played in by Saka from the right-hand side. Lovely delivery. And Arsenal appearing for a corner, but Michael Oliver calmly says no, the final touch was off an Arsenal head, possibly Timber, and it's a goal kick.
And again, at this point in time, you start looking at the reasons why it's 0-0, and you look at Milenkovic and Murillo. They've been really strong in there. Aina as well, very rarely taken on in this game. He's breathing very heavily now, Aina, but he's just getting himself fully back to his best strength and fitness. But the entire back line, and other lads, Williams as well, because you can't ignore them now. they've been very good today. They've been cut over a couple of times, but they've been really strong and well organised, and you've got to applaud them. They will celebrate like they've won a game if they get a clean sheet.
We've got less than 2.5 minutes of added time to play. Eza plays it forward. Murillo comes across, he clears it away. This has been much more like the Murillo of last season, hasn't it? As Forest come forward and the ball's deflected out for a throw. Hutchinson will take this to Gibbs-White, back to Hutchinson, then to Aina, who will go back into his own half. Yes, don't forget, Forest, who finished 7th in the Premier League last season, but then one of those seasons where they just couldn't find the blend. However, this has been much better. Aina now on the right-hand side, forward to Hutchinson. Hutchinson chips it across to the back post. Joy with a header, but he couldn't get any purchase on it. Still on the edge of the area. Hudson-Odoi for Nottingham Forest. Hudson-Odoi curls it in, but I think that's going to curl all the way through. It is for a goal kick to Arsenal, still 0-0.
You could just feel it in Forest there when they broke. I mean, particularly Hutchinson, he's lively. Obviously, he's got all the energy in the world, having just come on there. He's definitely desperate to make a difference, though, but I don't know how many chances he's going to get. Only a minute or so to go.
Well, Pat, these are big moments, aren't they? 0-0 away from home when you're going for the title. Really trying to ratchet up the pressure on Manchester City. 1 minute of added time to play.
They will feel as if it's 2 points dropped if they don't score in this last minute, Arsenal, but in reality, this is a tough place to go.
Saliba, Sells has made some good saves in the second half. Those chances they missed in the first half as well. Gabriel Martinelli, still not sure how that effort from his didn't end up in the back of the net. Saliba, as Arsenal come forward, this might be the last attack, might be the last chance. Saka under his left foot, curls it in, deflected all the way across the penalty area, but cleared up in the air by Hutchinson. Hasn't cleared it by much. Then Rice steps in, Anderson does well. Anderson did very well for Forest to win that free kick in very wily fashion against his international teammate, and then Forest, accidentally on purpose, take the free kick down.
To be honest, I think they were trying to get away there. It's that Hutchinson, the far side there, he was so free, but they couldn't take it from the right place, and it was a good 12.
Let's say, Pat, it had a dual purpose.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I will absolutely give you that. It wasted a bit of time, but had the referee let it go, he was away.
I can just see Evangelos Marinakis down the stand here. Do you remember last season? They put him in a box out of sight at the back. Well, he's now down in front of that massive television, about 20 yards down the stand in front of us. He was on his feet. He's sitting down again. There's the whistle. And there are the Forest cheers that Pat Nevin predicted. A 0-0 draw, and Arsenal missed the chance to open a 9-point lead at the top of the table. However, 7 is not bad.
Yeah, 7 very, very good at any point in the season, but this point in the season when Arsenal are very strong, they've got a lot of players coming back. They didn't play their very best today, but they created enough chances to win the game. They're unlucky in the end. That header in the second half when they changed the game, when Saka came on, that could have won them the game. There were other half chances as well. However, they keep on playing like that, home and away. It will probably be enough. In reality, they probably need a centre forward, and I think they're desperate to get Kai Havertz back at his strongest, and that might make the difference between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, 0-0, just like last season actually between them here in the Premier League in February. How much of a missed opportunity was this for Arsenal?
Well, everyone's a missed opportunity, when you don't get the 3 points, but it happens during the season. It's the Premier League, it's a tough league. Have a look at everybody else. They're all going through exactly the same sort of stuff.
Playing the tough cup semi-final on Wednesday night.
Well, they did put a lot of effort and energy into that one, and if you're playing at all competitions at the time. But the thing about Arsenal, they've got plenty of backup. They've got plenty of attackers that they can back up as well. Maybe a little bit of a worry for them that one of the ones they expected to come in and do something different was Eze. Couldn't really get involved in the game tonight, and that's the sort of thing. They need those players that they're going to bring them on late on and be dynamite, be different, get them on the ball and ask massive questions. So far, Eze he's been a little bit of disappointment in comparison to what we all know he's capable of.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pat Nevin. You'll be able to hear Arsenal's next Premier League match as well, next Sunday, next weekend, at home to Manchester United. So listen out for that amongst our many Premier League commentaries next weekend. Mikel Arteta in his black coat, buttoned right up, collar up, just marching off the field and out of our sight down the tunnel. You'll be able to hear Mikel Arteta during the course of 606. Lines are open. We'll be with Ali and Chris very shortly. 08 085 909 693, particularly if a fan in Manchester or indeed a fan of Crystal Palace. Also tonight during the course of 606 they'll be updating the Scottish Cup 4th round tie between Hearts and Falkirk. Davy Donaldson's there.
Yeah, John, top of the table Hearts will be looking to make it through to the next round of the Scottish Cup with a win against Falkirk. They've somehow managed to win their last 2 league matches. That's despite having a man sent off in both of those games. Manager Derek McInnes makes no fewer than 5 changes, but it is still a very strong Hearts lineup. Falkirk have been in great form in the league with 3 wins in the last 5 games. 1 change for them, Henry Cartwright in for Calvin Miller. Hearts v Falkirk at Tynecastle.
Right, thanks, Davey. Davey will be updating that match during the course of 6:06 on Sports Extra tonight. Gloucester against Toulon in the Champions Cup. The Forest players still out on the field, receiving the applause after Nottingham Forest 0, Arsenal 0. Australian Open tennis begins tonight. Tennis breakfast is on Sports Extra from 7 a.m. on 5 Live. Sunday breakfast will have all of the news with Jeanette Quatchy and Stefan Powell reviewing the top sport and previewing all of tomorrow's events. Colin Murray from 10 o'clock, new on his programme, by the way, in the morning. This sounds good. There's no place like home. The stories of the football grounds of the United Kingdom, starting with the Valley, and then 5 Live Premier League Sunday from 12, featuring Wolves Newcastle and Aston Villa Everton as the commentary matches. So that is it from us here at the City Ground after the 0-0 draw between Nottingham Forest and Arsenal. And 6:06 with Alistair Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton will be here after the news with Jill Mackenzie.